What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing here, back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we are here with another Grand Cross video to do the tier list here as of the beginning of November. Now we are gonna have November Fest at the end of the month, guys, and I forgot to honestly do the tier list after Konosuba collab dropped, but we have a bunch of characters to really cover here. We have Loki to Droll, so we have all of Konosuba, Loki, and Droll to actually rank on the PVE and PvP tier list. And so we're gonna be going over all the kits of the characters and then ranking them accordingly on the tier list based on how I feel the characters are in PvP and PvE. If you guys do enjoy videos like this, definitely make sure to hit that like button and subscribe as we are on those top 54,000 subscribers. I definitely do appreciate the support on the channel, guys. And with that out of the way, man, let's hop in. Let's talk the Loki character in Grand Cross. Alrighty, guys, so in terms of Loki here, this is God of Mischief Loki. Let's go over his kit. So for his passive here, Poker Phase, for each applicable ally participating in the battle, their basic stats is going to increase by 6%, and hero damage dealt increases by 15%. Applicable allies being Giants and Ragnarok. Now applies one King, Queen, or Jack on applicable allies at the start of the battle, and taking damage from a skill during the enemy's turn changes the effect. If two or more allies have the same effect, an additional effect is applied for one turn at the start of the ally's turn. Now it's going to be King, which gives 15% basic stats, and the additional effect being 10% all stats. Queen is going to be max HP and damage reduction, and then you do also get some damage suppression. And then Jack is going to be attack related stats 10%, and then additional 20% attack. If three or more of the applicable allies have the same effect, King, Queen, Jack at the start of the ally's turn, the hero gains Joker effect for one turn, and Joker is going to increase the skill ranks and damage dealt depending on the dupe level. I think it is 1 out of 6, it's 100%, and then 2 out of 6 or higher stays at 200%. Now, increases the hero's damage dealt with single target attacks by 30% for each buff applied to enemies at a limit of 5 times as well. Now, moving over to his skills here, his first skill is going to be Summon Wolf. Inflicts illusion damage equal to 200% of attack on one enemy, and illusion is going to be 3 times pierce rate increase and 50% damage dealt for each King, Queen, or Jack on allies. This is going to scale from 200 to 300 to 500% of attack, and on the rank 2 and rank 3, you actually delete a skill at random. Right, so delete one skill at rank 2 and then delete 2 skills at rank 3, which also removes a ultimate move gauge as well. So it removes a skill, and then I think it does also remove, exactly, it removes one ultimate move gauge and then deletes the skill. So there you guys go. And then moving on to the next skill here, Raining Tricks. Inflicts ethereal damage equal to 160% of attack on all enemies. Ethereal is going to be 2 times critical chance, 2 times critical damage, and damage dealt plus 100% when the hero has King, Queen, or Jack. This is going to scale from 160 to 240 to 400% of attack. Now for his ultimate here, Master of Games, and this is at the 3 to 6 dupe level. Gains Joker for 2 turns, then inflicts damage equal to 16% of the hero's max HP on all enemies, then deletes all enemy skills. Delete is going to randomly remove skills from the target, including or excluding ultimate moves, unless that's the only thing left to remove. So that is the kit right there of Loki, guys. Let's actually rank him now on the tier list. Alright, guys, now in terms of where we're actually going to be ranking Loki on the tier list here, so this is the PvP tier list right here, right? Yeah, this is the PvP tier list. Loki, for how good he actually is, guys, is going to go in the S tier with the Giant team. Now, remember, we're going in order of release, so Loki right now is where I have him in the Giant in the Giant team. He's on the team, the best team in the game for when Loki is added to this tier list, right? We still have Konosuba to cover and Droll. So I will, like, preliminary right now, I am going to keep him in the S tier with the Giants. I do think that Scotty will stay, at least the red Scotty. I actually see a lot of value in red Scotty. Green Scotty, do I want to keep Green Scotty up here too? I actually do see the value in red Scotty versus debuff oriented teams. You know what? To be fair, I will actually leave both the Scotties, and then I am going to also leave the Matrona. But if we had like blue Matrona up here for the back line, just like the, I guess the stats, or even like green Matrona, we would have them here as well. But regardless, guys, Giants are a very, very good team. And because they have the 3 characters in the front line now that are actually really good, they are able to pretty much deal with a lot of the teams now in the game. So yeah, in PvP, I actually do have Loki in the S tier. Now for PvE, actually I'm going to give Loki the A tier. He is still really good in PvE. The only thing that really holds him back, I would say, is going to be like the floor 4 content. Floor 4 Bird, you just can't, he's not usable because of his rank up. It does just kind of mess you up. And then for Deer, he's usable, but I would still recommend, for a green character, green tier. Green tier is just a better character than Loki for that fight, and it shows, when you actually run green tier instead. Other than that, though, I mean, he clears everything else. He's a really good Ratatosker DPS. Everything else he clears. So yeah, he's an A tier character. He's solid. He's really good across like all these other characters you would run in A tier anyway. So yeah, that's gonna be Loki right there, guys. Let's move on now to the next character, being Aqua from Konosuba. Alrighty, guys, now hopping into the water goddess Aqua, let's go over exactly what she's able to do, and then we're gonna rank her on the tier list. So for her passive here, Useless Goddess. For every one applicable ally participating in the battle, their basic stats increase by 5%, and the hero's damage taken decreases by 10%. Applicable allies being Goddesses, Megumin, and Darkness. For each applicable allies that the unique at the start of the battle, for the attribute of allies, sorry, the hero's basic stats will increase by 5%. And at the start of the battle, when an applicable ally uses a skill, they gain Blessing Lake for 2 turns. Blessing Lake is going to be all stats plus 10%, damage taken minus 10%. Removes Blessing Lake from self and gains Dice of Fate at the start of the ally's turn. Dice of Fate uses the Clear Stream skill according to the number of dice, 1 to 3, then the effect is removed. And if the hero uses a recovery skill to remove debuffs from the self, the hero and applicable allies with attributes different from the hero are granted Divine Purification for 2 turns, limit of once. Divine Purification is going to revive with 50% of the maximum HP upon dying, and the effect is removed after dying, does not revive if dying from reflected damage. And I think the only thing that scales on the Dukes guys for that is going to be the damage taken, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, just the damage taken right there. Now moving on to the Holy Relic, because this character does have a Holy Relic, increases the hero's damage dealt to demons by 200% and decreases damage taken from them by 100% as well. So, you know, it's fairly solid. Now moving on to our skill here, guys, the Clear Stream skill is going to do 200% of attack on one enemy. It's going to be 3 times pierce rate, damage dealt 100% when Dice of Fate is active, and applies freeze on the target for 1 turn when dealing damage while Dice of Fate is active. So yeah, pretty much whenever you have Dice of Fate, which is for the most part, you will be freezing the target. Now moving on to the second skill, Healing Zone, removes debuffs from all allies, heals them for 150% of attack, then rejuvenates for 2 turns, and rejuvenate is going to be additional recovery equal to 60% of recovered HP at the beginning of the turn, and that's going to scale up from what is that, 150%, 200%, 300% of the attack of you know, Aqua right there. Now moving on to the ultimate here, guys, God Requiem increases all stats of allies by 10% for 2 turns, then inflicts damage equal to 450% of attack on all enemies. And again, as you guys can see, you do get Divine Purification on allies on the rank 2 or higher, which is a little crazy, but I still think at 186 it's still solid. Alrighty guys, now that we've talked about Aqua's kit, where are we going to be ranking this character on the tier list? So talking about PvE, Aqua is actually going to be a fairly solid PvE character. Now it's not something where I'm going to be like, oh, Aqua is going to be usable on pretty much everything in the game, because again, she is a goddess character that if you were going to be running goddesses anyway, like I'm going to put her with the Mael, and with the other goddess characters you would run, like Light Mael. It's one of those things where like Aqua, I think, will be just a nice support unit, but not a good DPS, guys. Because right, she's not going to be doing a lot of damage, right? I even took her into Demon King battle, which you're not supposed to bring demons into, and she just didn't really hit that hard. So honestly, actually, I might drop her even lower, just because like I don't really see much value in PvE that you're going to get from this character, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because you have the revive, but who's dying in PvE that you're running? You're probably not dying. And then her damage, I mean, yeah, her damage is a little lacking. But honestly, B tier for PvE, bro. I'm gonna be honest, like that's kind of crazy, but it's true. You know, B tier right there. I had to think about it a little bit, but yeah, it's like Mael can actually do damage, and he's tanky, and he has everything. Same with the Darkness Mael, whereas like Aqua is like, she can't really do damage. She can support, but she doesn't really do crazy damage, so I'm not gonna give her the A tier. Yeah, B tier at best, guys, for Aqua and PvE. Now for PvP though, this is actually kind of crazy. I think Aqua, and specifically on either the Goddess team or the Konosuba collab team, actually goes in the top echelon of teams right now. Now I am going to drop out some of the characters in this tier. I think if I had to drop out a character here on this, I think I'm going to probably move down like the Loli Merlin, Milim, even Milim probably too, because, you know, Unknown team right now I feel like is not as crazy, guys. Yeah, Unknown team really isn't that crazy. Again, you can run like, you know, like Hell. You can run like Hell Scald, right? But that's more of a Ragnarok team, right? So Unknowns right now, I'm a little bit of a backseat. I guess I can leave Nanashi there. I'm gonna put down Easton and some of the humans as well for now. We'll talk about, you know, what I think can be done. But like at this moment, guys, I kind of have to clear out the S tier. There's a little bit too much characters there, to be honest, right? Like I am gonna actually move down some of the humans and stuff, and we'll talk about, you know, where I think, you know, humans as a meta is with the other characters that we have as well. So for now, I think, yeah, I'm gonna drop Beru down as well. I think this is probably fine. I think demons again are still a really good team, so actually I'm gonna leave them there. I'm gonna leave some of the Ragnaroks. Yeah, let's move the goddesses now up. I actually do see value in the goddess team now. Like this team right here is pretty crazy. Again, you have like the double revive, Melieli themselves revive, you have revive for Aqua, and then revive for you know, Mael. And then your backline would be like either Tristan, or you would have like Elat, or, you know, whoever. So I guess we'll do that. So yeah, I actually do see a lot of value, guys, in Aqua for God's team. God's team, I wouldn't say it's like the second best. I'll probably put it like under, like maybe under Demon team, actually. Maybe under Demon team, because I actually do see them as being pretty good. But I don't know if I'd have them over like Demon team necessarily. Like Demon team is still pretty crazy and can kind of deal with it, especially with the buff strip that Demon King has. So yeah, I mean, it's a toss-up. But I think right now, like they're fairly equal, like demons in them. And yeah, we'll talk about human team as we discuss, you know, Megumin and Darkness, as they're both humans. So we'll see where I actually do adjust some of the human teams to be in the higher tier of S tier as we talk about it, guys. So that's gonna be that right there. Let's move on now to Megumin, and let's talk about exactly what she's able to do. Alrighty, guys, now hopping into Megumin here, let's go over her kit. So we have the Arch Wizard. For every one applicable ally preceding the battle, all stats of the hero increase by 5% and damage taken decreases by 15%. Applicable allies being humans, Aqua, and Darkness. Gains Crimson Demon Tradition for 3 turns at the start of the battle. Crimson Demon Tradition is going to be attack related stats plus 10% with each turn elapsed. Resets attack related stats and reapplies the effect when removed. Gains magic deployment for 2 turns at the start of the ally's turn, limit once. Magic deployment is going to be immune to ultimate move gauge decrease and fills the ultimate move gauge by 1 when the hero uses a skill. If the hero has kept the ultimate move for 1 turn from the start of the ally's turn, the hero gains Mighty Explosion for 3 turns, and Mighty Explosion is going to be attack related stats plus 30%, and ultimate move damage dealt is actually going to increase based on the dupes. And you guys can also see as well, increases the hero's damage dealt to enemies who have ultimate moves by 50, and it does go up as well. You guys can see based on the dupes, you actually get the ultimate move damage dealt as well at 2 out of 6 there. You guys see that it is active when you do have that. Now, if the hero's HP becomes 0, all the hero's ultimate move gauges are consumed to heal the hero for 100% of max HP limit once. And if the hero dies and there are no orbs in the ultimate move gauge is consumed even while magic deployment is active. So that is going to be the passive right there. Moving on to the Holy Relic, increases applicable allies basic stats by 4% whenever the hero's ultimate move gauge is filled. So, you know, fairly nice supportive effect. Now, she also has the first attack here being Staff Attack. Remove stances from one enemy and inflict power strike damage equal to 200% of attack. Power strike additional damage equal to enemy resistance. It's going to be 200, 300, and 500% of attack. Now moving on to the next skill here, guys, we have the Fire Bomb. Inflicts blowout damage equal to 150% of attack on all enemies, then causes an explosion for 1 turn. Blowout's going to be 2 times critical chance. 60% critical damage for every 1 orb in the target's ultimate move gauge when using the skill, and limit of 5 orbs. And an explosion is going to be additional damage equal to 200% of the damage dealt after a certain number of turns. And it's going to scale from 150 to 250 and 450% of attack. Now for the ultimate here, guys, we have Explosion, removes buffs and stances from all enemies, and inflicts damage equal to 600% of attack at the 2 to 6 level, and removes 1 orb from the ultimate move gauge of enemies with 4 or more ultimate move gauges, then becomes drained. Now, I don't know if I'm able to show, I don't know if they actually have the way to show the drained effect, guys. Is it able to show it here, maybe? Okay, no, I don't think it shows it, but pretty much the way that this ultimate works when you become drained is if you use the ultimate again, you get back access to your skills. When you're drained, you literally can't use your skills. So that is the ultimate right there. Alrighty, guys, so in terms of where we're actually going to rank Megumin on the tier list, I actually think Megumin is going to be for PVE specifically, probably, I want to give her the A tier too. She's kind of annoying to play. Like, she is kind of annoying to play. I think what I'll do is I will give her, guys, this is honestly a tough one. The Konosuba collab units are like okay in PvE because they're very gimmicky, right? Like, Megumin has to hold on to ultimate to be good, and then you pretty much don't want to ult, because if you do, then you have to re-get the ult again. Right? So it's a little bit annoying. So if you hold on to ultimate, probably like an A tier DPS. If you don't and you use it, then she kind of drops a little bit, right? Because it's a little annoying. Like, none of these other DPSs up here have to deal with that kind of crutch. You know what I mean? You just have it and you're good to go. So honestly, I think I will sell for B tier actually, now I'm thinking about it, because at the end of the day for PvE, do I want to have that annoying fact of using my ultimate and then I can't really do anything? Like for that turn, like I'd have to rush up the ultimate again, reuse it when a DPS doesn't need to do that. You know what I mean? It's a little annoying in PvE, guys. Now for PvP, I actually think that Megumin is going to be in the top tier, specifically on a more centered around, you know, Konosuba centric team, but you can run it on humans. So I actually will put her in the humans for S tier. I actually do see her as pretty valuable. And you know, I am gonna move I think probably Transcendent Bond down as well. I don't really see much use of him, but we'll put him in the A tier. But yeah, that is gonna be Megumin's placement in my opinion. Again, we'll talk about Darkness. She's the last character of the collab, but I do think that, you know, right now humans specifically with Megumin, Darkness, and then some of the other collab characters like Sun Jin Woo, or, you know, you have like Cha as well, it can still be very solid. You have like Nasin Sister, very solid. Shadow. You have options for human variant teams now that actually do fairly well. Alrighty, guys, now moving on to the final character of the collab here, we have Night Darkness. So let's go over her skills and her kit, and then we'll talk about where we're going to rank her on the tier list. So for her passive right here, guys, Crusader, for every 1 applicable ally preceding the battle, the hero's defense related stats increase by 20% and max HP by 15%. Applicable allies being humans, Aqua, or Megumin, and it's going to be active in all content. Gains decoy 1 star at the start of the battle. Gains noble sacrifice for 3 turns at the start of the battle, which noble sacrifice is going to be defense related stats plus 30% and damage taken minus 30% for applicable allies other than self, and hero damage taken plus 20%, so she takes a little bit more. Gains Divine Pain at the start of the battle. Divine Pain increases the hero's defense related stats by 10% up to a maximum of 50, and when taking damage from an enemy's skill, heals applicable allies by 30% of the hero's final damage taken directly. Now again guys, you can see here that the dupe scaling is going to matter for the amount that you take damage taken and the amount of you heal for your team as well. So you can see the scaling on that as I go through it. Now, applies Nightly Oath on applicable allies for 3 turns whenever the hero uses a dispersion skill. Nightly Oath is going to be basic stats plus 10% and it stacks up to 3 times. So for her skills, or for, Holy Relic here, the hero's damage taken decreases by 70% when assuming a stand, so that's pretty good. And then for her first skill here, I Challenge You, decreases the hero's damage taken by 50% for 2 turns, then inflicts dispersion damage on one enemy, and dispersion is the skill results in a miss. So you pretty much miss, but you are giving basic stats to the team again from the passive. Now for the stance skill right here, Decoy assumes a stance which taunts enemies for 1 turn when the ally is attacked, decreases their final damage taken by 50%, and the hero takes 20% of the reduced damage for them. Final damage decreases the highest value takes effect if there is multiple of the same buff effect. And then this, you guys can see the scaling here as well. So that's not, going to be too crazy. And then for the ultimate right there, Knight Exemplar removes debuffs from all allies, then grants debuff immunity and 30% HP related stat increase for 3 turns. And that's going to scale up based on the dupe level as well. I don't know why. Wait, I don't know why actually this doesn't scale up right here. This number, it should be increasing, guys. I don't know why it's actually not showing that. But that is the dupe levels as well. All right, guys. Now, where are we going to be ranking Darkness here on the tier list? For PvP, I actually am going to put her in that top tier again. It's the same thing where, like, in PvP, you have one of the best taunt characters in the game with Darkness. She's one of the best, like, just outright tank characters in the game. Honestly, in my opinion, she might be the best, but the problem is she doesn't do damage. But again, that's not a crush to her, because I think if you have her be a taunt character anyway, she's providing the basic stats, she's drawing damage away, she gives your team healing. It's really consistent. So I actually do really like Darkness. If anything, she was probably like a higher echelon of strength character. Even though she doesn't do damage, it is very, very good. So again, I would probably put her in the S tier. Now, for the PvE side of the game, Darkness doesn't do damage, guys. So it's a thing of, like, if you have her in your team, it's probably nice for support, but you need damage, man. You need damage in PvE. I'm sorry, Darkness, for PvE, you're going here. And for other things, like, again, like, maybe, certain, like, boss stages where you need a tank and just draw damage away, you don't care what she does, maybe C tier, but that's like super niche stuff, man. I'll give her C tier. You know what? I'll give her C tier. Very, very niche setups, but she probably works, right? So there is that at the very least, okay? I'm gonna give her C tier, guys. Just so I don't, piss off the Darkness fans, man, So there's that. All right, moving on to the final character, guys. We'll talk about Droll, and then we'll finish out the tier list. Alrighty, guys. So we have the brand new Droll of Patience here. Let's go over exactly what he's able to do. First thing that he has is his commandment in PvP. Applies an effect that increases resistance by 30% for 3 turns upon taking damage from a skill in PvP, and this applies to both sides and it stacks up to 3 times. Now for his passive, for each giant ally participating in the battle, their basic stats increase by 7%. When a giant ally is attacked, their damage taken from critical strikes is decreased by 60%. When a giant ally inflicts damage using a skill during the ally's turn, giant ally's defense related stats increase by 5% for 3 turns, and it stacks up to 5 times. And for each buff applied to the hero, their basic stats increase by 10% at a limit of 5 times. And this is a active in the sub-slot effect, guys. So these 3 things above are going to be active for the backline. This right here, only active for the hero. So only Droll gets this bottom part right here. Now, for his Holy Relic, this is something that he's had for a long time. This is a variant of Droll's, obviously. Decreases allies' damage taken by 5% for each buff on the hero, limit of 8 times, and active only in the front. You cannot use this from the back line. Now, for his skills here, guys, this first skill is going to be Colossal Toss. Inflicts pierce damage equal to 180% attack on one enemy, and removes 1 orb from their ultimate move gauge. So pierce is going to be 3 times pierce rate, and you can see 180 to 70, 450, and it's 2 and 3 respectively for the gauge lower. Now for his second skill, Earth Charge is going to inflict amplified damage equal to 180% of attack on one enemy. Amplify is going to be damage dealt per 30% or 30% per active buff on self, so you can see. And then the scaling is pretty good. Now for his ultimate here, they actually did update the ultimate. They gave him increased damage dealt by 50%, then inflicts charge damage equal to 455% of attack on all enemies. You can see, guys, the scaling on the actual ultimate for the damage dealt doesn't change. It's only the charge effect that does go up. So you can see that is pretty much all it is. So again, you do get the 50% damage dealt regardless of how many dupes you have. Alrighty, guys, now where are we going to be ranking Droll on the tier list? For the PvE side of the game, Droll is going to be a solid just kind of basic stat booster. But again, it's like one of those things where, like, yeah, his support is nice, but am I really ever going to be using his support in like content in PvE? Probably not, like probably not. I mean, giants aren't really that crazy in PvE to warrant you running that. So I am going to give him a B tier as well. You know, he's just along the lines of the Konosuba characters right now. His support is good, though. His support is definitely really good. And if you want a team that's going to be very tanky, he can provide that. He definitely can, especially on field too. So there is that. But now into the PvP side of the game, Droll is the new best backline for Giants, so he got to go up here. And we can move Matrona down now, unless you run Matrona with Droll, or Matrona as backline, then Droll in the front with the rest of the team. But I would say because of that, we actually do drop Matrona down, as you're going to be running Droll now as the optimal backline for the team. And then again, if you want to run Scotty in place of Loki, you can, and that is an option. So that is pretty much the tier list right there, though, guys, in terms of the rankings. We have it, you know, on the, so the PvP tier list, this is what it looks like. PVE tier list, this is what it looks like as well. So there you guys go, man. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below of the characters we've gotten in the past month and a bit. Yeah, I know I'm a little late to this tier list video, but hope you guys still enjoy it regardless. But that's gonna be it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'm gonna see you guys on the next one, man. Peace out. Have a good rest of your day, guys. See you later, man.